Spencer, I'm sitting here with David, the spokesperson for Comic-Con. I'm going to ask him some questions. So what is it like working for such a large convention as Comic-Con? People all over the world come. It's a really big deal.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. I think it's very different now than it was, 20 years ago when it was a much smaller event. It's really weird to be in other cities in the United States and somebody asks, who do you work for? And you say Comic-Con, and they know what it's about. Because when I first started, people in San Diego didn't know what Comic-Con was. I couldn't give passes away. I mean, it was hard to get coverage. And now you're right, people all around the world know what it's about.
I'm talking about giving passes away. Do you have a lot of friends who ask for passes knowing that you work for them? Because I know I just said I was going and I have friends begging for passes.
Yes, and it's funny because I don't tell a lot of people that I first meet where I work. I tell them an event planning company because, we do get a lot of people who ask for passes. And in fact, in our office now, we wear badges to get into the building. And I probably shouldn't say this, but we have a different name on the badge because if you're out downtown walking around and it says Comic-Con, you probably get accosted. So,
yeah. I could imagine. And then, what's your favorite part of working for Comic-Con?
It really is corny, but it's meeting people. One of the great things about the event is there's a lot of stuff going on during the course of the weekend. We have 600 hours of programming, so there's always neat panels and stuff. The exhibit floor is cool, but it's really, really amazing when you see a family together, really having a good time all together, or even kids or adults individually really into what it is that they're into. There are people who dress up in costume, and a lot of times I may not know what that costume is, but out of the 130,000 people, there's probably somebody there who does and can really appreciate it. It's really nice to see people connect. And the whole nerd geek thing really is true. Growing up, I'm still a nerd, but it was great to be able to come to this event and connect with people who were just as geeky or nerdy as me. So the people aspect I love.
Yeah, and then for somebody, let's say somebody just has a one-day pass, is the first time coming to Comic-Con, what do you recommend so that they can get the full Comic-Con experience?
I would go to the website, and it has each day's schedule. So depending upon which day they're going to be there, I would suggest they decide what it is they want to see. Obviously look at the exhibit hall, because there's a ton of stuff you could spend all day on the exhibit hall. But look at a couple of panels also. There's just a tremendous amount of talent in the show. And even for a day, I think you can really bring back memories that you'll remember for a lifetime.
Well, speaking about the panels, I was on the website. There are hundreds of panels. Do you have any one panel that you're particularly looking forward to?
That's a great question, and this year I don't know because I don't know while the schedule is final. I've looked at it in so many different ways. Some panels have dropped out, some panels have come in, so I'm afraid of picking a panel that doesn't exist anymore. So I think this weekend I'll go through and probably try to figure out which panels I may not have a chance to see, but if I can pop in for a minute or so, I'm sure there'll be at least one.
Some of those panels are fairly hard to get into.
They are, and one of the things that we really do is everybody has to wait in line. It's funny because the press has understood this now, and we get big news crews that come in and big magazines and newspapers, but they all know that their pass doesn't get them ahead in line. They have to wait in line like everybody else, and they're really nice about it. I mean, in most events, that's not the case, but this event really is for the fans. So if the fans need to wait in line, then we can all wait in line as well.
Well, sometimes the waiting in line is the best part. You'll meet some cool people.
I think so. It's I think making the best out of a bad situation, and that comes from somebody who back in the day, I slept on Hollywood Boulevard when The Empire Strikes Back came out, and it was a crazy thing to do, but we were all friends, we all met people. Some of those friends I have till today. So I think when you really enjoy something so much and you're really passionate about it and you geek out about it, it's great to find friends who are just as passionate as you, and what better place than in a line to meet those people.
Yeah. And out of all on the floor, do you have any particular booth you like, or maybe a new booth this year that you think is going to be really good?
There is we have about 1,000 or so exhibitors, and we try to keep it dynamic, so there are a lot of people who return every year, and and some are new, obviously. There's everything from, there's a booth called Sideshow, which has a lot of exclusive like Star Wars toys and toys from movies and stuff like that. But there's also fine art booths. There's book booths, like publishers are there. It's hard to pick just one because it depends upon, you know, what time of day it is and what you're into. If you're really into the sculptures and all that, Sideshow's a great booth. There's other booths as well, toys, games, and all that. But some of the fine art booths, you get to see old magazine covers. You get to see artwork from you know, old cartoons and stuff. So there's just a lot. I don't have one favorite booth.
And then just for one final question, you brought up the costumes earlier. Is there any one costume that stands out in your mind as the strangest or most unique one you have ever seen?
You know, there have been some amazing costumes, and one of the things that I think is really important to realize from these people who build these costumes is when you make a costume for a television show or a movie, or even for stage, but certainly for television and movies, they have to look good on camera. And typically, they'll have a couple versions of that same costume in case anything happens to it. But also because the costume may not always look good or perfect from every angle. When somebody builds a costume for Comic-Con, not only does it have to look good from every angle, it has to be practical. So they have to be able to wear it for hours on end. And as far as some of the cool costumes I've seen, one guy came once as one of the Transformers, and I don't know how he did it, but he built this exoskeleton that he like stepped into and was like able to walk, you know, the lobby. Granted, I don't know that he could get into meeting rooms because it was too big, but you know, he was able to walk around the lobby, and I was really impressed.
That's an amazing costume.
It really is. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I thought so. It was pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your time, David.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for this wonderful opportunity to.
It was my pleasure. It was a lot of fun.